I have been streaming now for about 3 hours, and I never hit the start stream button. And I've been so sad and so lonely, and I could not figure out why. Oh my goodness. We've talked about so much. There's so much that's been accomplished. And now it is all lost to time. I've been talking to myself alone in a room for only my benefit for 3 hours. Oh my God, that's depressing. Can't believe that I just did that. Well, oh my goodness, I can't even handle 3 hours. What time is it? Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock. Yeah, yeah. Oh God. Ugh. Okay, well, you know what? We'll just keep on going with it, I guess. Oh man, the most frustrating part about this is it means that I now need to explain where I was in the process and sort of what I've been doing. And I like just explained all of that because I thought I was streaming, but I wasn't. Oh my God. I can't believe I've done this. This is so sad. Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. All right, so here's what we've got going on is making assets, making foliage, have made a lot of progress since the last stream. And the thing that we're doing now is um, I just explained all of this in the stream that doesn't exist. I'm so sad. Yeah, no, oh my God. I've been waiting for it to start too. I legitimately thought I'd been streaming for like 3 hours now, and I was like, no one loves me. I'm doing such a terrible job. Okay, let me just slow down, collect myself, have a chip, and sort of explain what's been going on. So, making foliage and doing a lot of weird techniques, and not weird techniques, but like techniques you just don't see very often. And you're starting to see more and more of, but are like less prevalent in games, specifically inspired by things like Puss in Boots. So Puss in Boots is a beautiful movie, and if you watch through it, there's things you'll notice really frequently, which is like flowers and sort of superfluous details in the environment are not actually modeled or like done in any way. They're just these weird like I there's one scene in particular where they're coming up on this big brick wall and it's covered in foliage and they've got all of these flowers and each flower is just like a splotch of paint, right? And if you look at it, it almost looks terrible. Like if you freeze frame on exactly that shot, you're like, wow, that looks basically like nothing, right? But when you're watching the movie and everything's in motion and your focus is where it's supposed to be, which is on the characters in the center of the shot, these flowers read clear as day as flowers because your brain is just filling in the information. So what we're doing here is we're playing around with UVs, textures, and alpha masks in order to create painterly effects for a number of different foliage assets. So to show off sort of that idea over here in Photoshop, this was just some early messing around with brush strokes. I'm going to be going through and creating basically a really nice high resolution alpha texture like this. This is then going to get sent over to Blender where we're going to model things. And what's cool is if we take a look at like this, for example, let me actually get rid of a couple of these. Oh God, I'm still so upset that I wasn't streaming for that whole time. But here, so I've got a, you know what, let me just do that again. This was my little demonstration. I'm going to do it again because it takes like 10 seconds here. So circle, make a hexagon, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and collapse it all. So we've got just these three planes like such. If I take this and I UV unwrap it, and then give it a texture that looks exactly like what we've got here. And let me quick flip that. So now we've got our texture mapped out onto our alphas, which in and of itself isn't useful. But like once you start wrapping your brain around alphas in general and like cutouts and patterns and all sorts of stuff, you can start doing some really, really cool things. So we're going to turn essentially this really gross hexagon into a really pretty flower very easily. The way you do so is I can take just this one face and I can actually rip it out like this and move it around individually. So doing so, I'll grab each of the faces. Um, and then I can take this one and we'll rotate it 90 degrees so that it's up and down. And I can take that, copy UVs, and then to all of these other triangles here, I can paste them. So now all of our triangles are copying the exact same triangle here. And you can see already that's had like a dramatic effect on the hexagon, right? So if I scale this down a little bit and then flip it, we'll do 180 degrees. You'll see I had what you guys saw when I came in, which is this like starburst of just snowflakes. And I'll get to that in a moment. But if I take this over and I put it right over this petal, like I can make a kind of flower pattern super easily. And I actually prefer flipping this over and having this as my flower pattern here. And bam, just done, flower, right? Because it's using just alphas and gradients, I can make this any color you could possibly imagine. And I can have like the color change dynamically at runtime, so I could make like a whole field of different colored flowers. They'd all be the shape. But yeah, so this is the plan for today is to go through and make the alphas for a bunch of different kinds of foliage. Um, Going back for just a second to over here on this thing. The other thing as well is that there's a technique that I see in games every so often to create fluffy things. And I don't know how useful it is at any given time, but I do think that there's a lot of things that can be like done with it. So I don't know. We'll play around and we'll figure out with what we got. But that thing is that if I take this whole hexagon here and I simply duplicate it and raise it above the other one just a little bit, and just for giggles, I'll rotate it, and I'll do this. Actually, let's grab this one. So now we've got this sort of thing going on. By stacking these three alphas on top of each other just a couple times like this, what you end up with, oh, and that's still simulating, isn't it? Ha 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 ha. You end up with this weird kind of fuzzy effect, which I see, like I know they did that for some of the moss in like Elden Ring, for example, which was something that I forgot to look up when we were doing references the other day. Um, and just things and stuff. So I don't really know what the limits of this are, but the goal is to try and figure that out. um, yes, yes. So the statement is that because these are all part of one image, or rather, all of these alphas are part of one image. Um, Everything that uses this only needs to load one texture. If you were doing it in a situation where like each flower had its own individual texture, and if you're doing it in a Skyrim mod situation where each flower had its own 8K texture, just the game wouldn't run. It could, but it would be awful and terrible, and you don't want it to work that way. Okay, so this is the and then again, sorry, because I just explained all of this when I wasn't streaming, right? So the thing I just did is I went through like Pinterest and Google Images, and I just looked up at a bunch of like foliage things where this technique would serve well. I've got pampas grass, a couple different flowers, moss. Definitely, I want to do this for leaves. This is the whole reason why I started this. Is I think that this will work really, really, really cool for leaves. But just nature things. And then one of the big questions is, and I'll type it up here now that there's people who I'm talking to, is rocks. Um, I don't want to mess with rocks necessarily. I should, uh, but rocks are hard. Rocks are really hard, which is funny because it's a pun too. Um, but we'll make a bunch of different stuff, and give me just like 10 seconds here. I have plans this evening, and someone is confirming them with me. Okay, okay. So yes, let me get my cute little tablet over here, and we can just start messing around with brushes. Unfortunately, so I used to have a tablet that had a screen on it, um, that was as old as time, and it was literally one of the first like screen tablet things. Um, and it doesn't work, and I'm poor, so I can't use that anymore, really. And I'm using just like a little tiny boy. And I also, but I do have an iPad, and an Procreate is what I do for like all of my digital painting needs. So it feels very weird to be back here in Photoshop because I just don't know anything in Photoshop anymore. It's been so long. And the worst part about it is that I was like, okay, well, I need some artistic brushes, and I don't want to go through and like try and make my own brushes for these purposes. So I downloaded several just mega packs off of the Adobe website for these brushes, and there's a lot, and there's so much, and it's about to get really crazy in here. So a lot of today is going to be just painting on a black surface and seeing why it sucks. Um, you okay, Photoshop? Oh. I see what your deal is. I see what your deal is. All right, so we'll do that, and then we'll import. I think, I think the mega pack, the starter pack, and hopefully that doesn't crash Photoshop. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, so let's just start looking at some brush strokes. The first thing that we're gonna make, the very first thing we're gonna make, I think is going to be leaves, I should say. There's somewhere I have a little list of leaves that I think is a good spread of leaves to have. Um, which here, give me just 1 second. I'm so sorry. Is it this one? No. I hope I didn't delete it. I might have deleted it. 90% sure. Yep, definitely deleted it. Awesome. Love it. Like you do. Sorry, the thing I was looking for is that there so I was talking yesterday about how I live in a desert, so my knowledge of greenery is like lacking. And it's amazing because when I imagine a leaf shape in my head, like I'm like, leaf, yes, it looks like this. That tree doesn't like it exists in the place that I live. It's uncommon. It's an uncommon tree where I live, and then it's not in almost any other places. So it was funny because I was looking up tree references online for like leaves and what do the leaves of various species of tree look like, and I could not find the leaf that is like my quintessential leaf in my head, and I was like, oh no, I'm in deep here. Which coincidentally is closest to, I guess, lime trees. Is like my mental image of a leaf whenever I think of one. But I think the leaves that we're going to be making predominantly is we're going to be making a kind of oak leaf, a plane leaf, a birch leaf, and mostly that. So I need strokes that can kind of make those things. And let me do one last. If I invert this and then put it down to overlay, one of these does the thing I need it to do. That works. Pardon me. All right, so time to just start making a couple brush strokes and seeing what we've got in these crazy mega packs of stuff here. The one really important thing about this technique, if you will, and whole process is that grayscale is bad. You can do grayscale. You can do grayscale for alpha masks. The thing about doing grayscale is that it requires you to use translucency, not a mask. And that's the problem, is that translucency is way more expensive than masking, and masking is already really expensive. So we don't want to use grayscale. We want to use just black and white images. I really like this batter brush. Is there a way, and if anyone anywhere knows a way, is there a way to like new brush group, like just save this as like, yes, I want this, but not as a part of this whole mess that I've downloaded. Um, Alpha brushes, does that do? Oh no, nothing. It does nothing. Oh, but I can put this in there. A, but now I have to move this thing. I, I hate so much that there's like three companies, like Adobe, Autodesk, and just those two. And it's like use what they give you or you're done. Then there's no other options. I hate it so much. Um yeah, we don't want that. Uh okay. And these are all what kind of brushes? What am I looking at right now? This is all my watercolor stuff. Okay. I think just the one splatter will work more than fine here. Outside of that, how are you guys doing today? Because this is gonna be a bit of a process. Watercolor, and I'm just gonna delete it. No, shit. Wait, what? There we go. So now I have, yeah, okay, perfect. That's cool. That's not dusty bits. Uh, I might actually save that one. Remember dusty bits for me. Dots. No, I lied. Remember dots. Dots is definitely already, I can tell you, going into the thing. Um, Instant Poppy Field. Also, just the naming of all of this in general is the worst way to name just about anything. Tiny stars. That's cool. Not useful for our purposes, but that's really cool. I like that a lot. Um, Colada? Yep, that's not too bad of a joke to be making there. Um, Scattered dust. Nope, 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 nope. Oh man. No. Bigger star. No. Supreme spatter and texture. Nope. Oof. This is the kind of riveting content that I get to do today. It should look really cool though. I'm hoping that the so we got I think one good spatter from this. What was Asteroid Belt again? Eh, I'll take it. I don't want to get just only one spatter and then call it a day. I would rather have more than that. Um, Doink. I know that the mega pack is like 300 things long, so I don't want to click on it right away. Uh, that's cool. And we can also adjust the like levels of anything and the this can be used for something. I don't know what this can be used for. Um but yeah, Simon Simon, um not quite sure what you're asking, but if yes will suffice as an answer, then yes. Unless I should answer no, in which case I no, definitely not. Okay. This no, sorry, which one was the one? Was it this one? This is really cool. I don't know what I'm going to use this for, but that's really cool. I want to hold on to that guy. Um, the rest of this doesn't do anything. At least we're getting through these folders. Oh, unless is Pina a brush? Is that a kind of brush? No, never mind. um, Detail. It's kind of nice. Nope. Um, I want. No, that's awful. Blocky Van Gogh. No, no, no. That's a blender. These are all blenders. Is that it for this whole? Oh my god. Okay. Useless. Concept brushes. I wish I don't like when brushes give you colors automatically. Like you can give me value, but don't give me color. Because what if I don't want to use that color? Now I have to go click more buttons in order to. It's a mixer, mix. Picture block doesn't do anything. Noisy grant. Nope. Brancher. Oh no, it's because I'm drawing with black on black. Ha ha ha. Nope. Nope. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Bird mix. Ugh. I think these are gonna be terrible as well. Bubble burst. Uh. Hmm. I can't tell if I like that. I might hate that. It's kind of cool. It's cool for not the thing that I'm doing, you know? Okay. Nope, 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 nope. Chicken scratch. Don't know what I was expecting. Chunky clouds. Yep, no. Skipping past all the clouds. Um, Downpour? That's cool. We can maybe use that for something. I don't know what we can use that for, but we can use that for something. What is the difference between control and not control? Do we know? All right, we'll take downpour control and stick that into our brushes. There's something we can probably use that for. Um, Flame on. Get out of here. Uh, Grass, no. Fast grass, also no. Driftwood. I'm just kind of going by name here, and for the most part, uh, seeing just if anything sticks. Foliage silhouette. And so far, it's not going great. No, don't you dare give me color. That's kind of nifty. Maybe that could be used for something. Maybe. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Oh god, there's so many of these. There's so many of these. I ain't got this kind of time. You ain't got this kind of time. Ain't none of us have this kind of time. This guy's job, Kyle, it's his job to make brushes. And I think some of his brushes are good, and I think some of his brushes are just terrible. Oh my god. I do know that I hate his naming convention. That's 100%. Smoke. Get out of here. Snowflakes real. Oh, is it you took pictures of real snowflakes? But what a job, to be like employed by Adobe in order to make this stuff. That's got to be a job and a half. All right, goodbye, concept brushes. I shall not miss you. And now, oh no, I did this all over my. Whoops. Can I undo enough? A new layer. Yeah. That was almost terrible. All right, and this is where I think I'm gonna find the most luck is going through this one that I was like looking through the other night, but I just don't. So I don't need any tech pens; those can go away. Bonus, I probably don't care. Chunky charcoal, nope. You can get rid of the whole bonus folder. I think we can get. Why did it unfurl every one of these? So the erasers, we don't need those. The drawing box is one we're going to go through. The ink box, I don't think we really need. Let's see. Let's see. Ugh, no. Just the way I said that reminded me of Markiplier's Smash Pass on the Pokemon. This is actually not bad. It's not great at large size, but like, yeah, this actually will no, not that one. Not that one. Yeah, definitely this guy. We'll keep him. Who else do we have? Um, that's where we were at. Liner? No. Eh? Eh? Oh God. Usually this naming scheme is just part of the reason why it's horrifying is because you're like, there's no way to know if something will be useful to you or not, especially not by the little previews here, because you're just like, what kind of name is it? It's a completely non-associated name with what it does or what it could be used for. Old brush ink. Like that, that works for me. Old brush ink, cool, got it. Um, hello. How's it going, Rapid Dev? We are currently going through and looking at many different brushes in Photoshop in order to create hand painted alphas for our models of foliage that we're doing. Oh my God, I don't know that I'm patient enough to go through all of these. Hey, dope. I love it. I hope it's not the worst thing in the world. These leaves? So I just did a nice. So okay, so for these leaves, this was just a simple Google search as I was like, what are the various like leaves that can exist? Because I live in a desert. I don't have a lot of leaves around me. This is not a thing that exists here. Um, but from this list, we're going to be making like first of all like flowers and a number of things along those lines. But we're specifically going to be making a couple clusters of leaves, and I think the ones that we're going to be making predominantly is we're going to make some kind of oak pattern, an oak, a plane, um, a birch, and then maybe something halfway between like a maple and a lime leaf. So those are going to be the leaf clusters that we use. Unreal is great. You're going to be seeing not well, you're going to be seeing more Photoshop and Blender today, but we will be dipping into Photoshop whenever we get the chance. Let me look through a few more of these brushes, looking for just brushes that make nice shapes, and then we'll move on here. And then, if for a couple of you that are just joining, as I was talking about, so Puss in Boots is a really good example of some of the 3D stuff that we're going for, because they have a lot of their like background elements are just these like dashes of color using like painterly strokes. And it's not like a fully articulated leaf. It's not like they went through and they modeled all the petals and then simulated them blowing in the wind and doing this whole thing. It's just like a blip color and then that's it. And so using that information, there's probably some really cool stuff we can do using similar techniques for creating just things you would see a lot of, like flowers, um, various types of leaves, stuff of that nature. Oh, I like that guy. That guy's great. Let's take him. What does this do? Let's not use that one. Let's use this one. I have thought. I was actually considering on making a tutorial for Unreal because so like just recently I had to do a thing for multiplayer. So let me click on Unreal right here, right? So here I've got just a couple different player spawns. Let me what's the button I'm looking for? Why can't I do anything? There we go. So yeah, I've got some player spawns, and if I press play, it's simulating a networked environment. So I've got player one and player two, and just they're communicating with each other. Oh yeah, we'll close that. It looks like the stream wasn't having any of that either. Anyway, the point is that I was trying to follow a bunch of tutorials on just like, well, how do you do network replication? And it was dumb because there was one whole tutorial series from Epic Games that was 8 hours long, 8 hours of videos. And the thing is that the like fundamental knowledge of how to create a networked game and what's going on in that process, you could explain it in like 30 minutes, easy. The other 7.5 hours was just how to make menus to navigate stuff, which bothered me so much as I was like, I don't want to watch 7.5 hours of menu making in order to learn the literally one thing I need to know. I already know how to do that other stuff. And I don't know. I just a problem I have with a lot of tutorials is I feel that they're not very concise and they're not really descriptive. Another thing that's really important whenever you're trying to teach someone something is that you're like, okay, this is the thing you're trying to learn. This is how this fits into that picture. Like, if we were talking about just networking, I'd be like, okay, so in order to make a network game, you need to understand that this is like how these things communicate with each other. And then the way we create that is by using these nodes. Done, right? Uh, you don't need to spend 7 hours explaining how to make a main menu. I'm salty about it. Did you know, as a fun note about normal maps for leaves, here's a Photoshop tip for you if you don't know. Let me see if I can find it. I don't actually know where it is. Yeah. Oh, so here's hopefully this is plenty of information for you. You have these leaves here. Anytime you have a grayscale image in Photoshop, um, like let me try and do this proper so that you can kind of see the whole thing here. As I'll come in, I'll make a black background, um, and turn that guy on, and I'll just do something kind of like this, right? So I have a full range from white to dark. I can take this, filter 3D, generate normal map, and then we load and we load. We take a long time. Whoa! Photoshop's 3D features are being discontinued. Many 3D features are not working properly. Click the Learn More link for details. Well, let's learn more. I did not know this. I use this all the time. Why would this go away? Why would you not continue this? Oh, you want a reason why Autodesk and Adobe are just Satan spawn? Uh, Adobe bought out. Substance. And basically, they're discontinuing this feature in Photoshop because they want you to buy Substance. If I'm understanding right, because here, let me just double check here. Adobe, right? Let me just double check that I'm not talking out my butt because I might be. Products, um, yeah, Substance 3D bought out by Adobe, which is all their stuff. Why are we with this transition to newer APIs, together with the recent reboot of 3D tooling at Adobe featuring the Substance line of 3D products, the time has come to retire Photoshop's legacy 3D feature. Um, wow, that's a pain in the ass. That's fucking awful. Yeah, so it used to be. I mean, maybe they'll keep. No, 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 no. Wow. Yeah, so you used to be able to generate normal maps just using any black and white image in Photoshop, uh, which is a great freaking feature. But now you have to buy a different Adobe product in order to do so. Which, I mean, you should have some Substance program already, like Painter, but now you have to. Now there's no option because Adobe is evil. Because all, oh my God. I'm, now I'm sad. Let's go back to making leaves. Uh, Dude, I would use anything other than this. I'm so irritated by that. That's deep. That's rude. Debating about just how strongly worded I want to be on the public facing YouTube. Like in my spare time, just on my own, doing what I do. I have a pretty bad potty mouth. I do not speak. I love to use expletives. I love to be eloquent and just how ineloquent I am. Um, but oh God, I mean, normal mapping works for now. Well, I mean, as far as Photoshop is concerned, um, you can still do it, but like this is a great reason to download like Photoshop 2020 and then just never upgrade. I know people who still using like Photoshop 98, which I wouldn't go back quite that far, but you don't. There is very little need, I feel, to do Photoshop things. Oh man, that's pissy. I don't like that at all. I do not like that at all. Anyway, I'm sorry because there's a few more people who've joined in here. So what we're doing is we're creating alphas for our foliage in order to create sort of a painterly effect. Because there are no layers selected. What? Okay. Thomas brush? Do I know about Thomas brush? No, I don't. I will look up about Thomas brush. As a fun story, I have a bit of a fun story. I actually, so when I was, my game development journey has been weird and wild and supremely dumb, uh, at many points. But it started out is I was at the bookstore. It was an old bookstore called Borders Bookstore, which was a great bookstore. And when I was there, I found a book that was like how to make games with Blender because Blender used to have a game engine in it, and it was not a good game engine. It was bad. Um, but it did have one, and so I bought that book thinking it's like I was going to make games and I was going to learn how to do it starting off with this book. And one of the first things that I learned how to make was I made a bouncing pumpkin, like a bouncing jack-o'-lantern, and you would navigate through a hedge maze. And I got to go out and I like learned things about texturing and stuff. Like I went out and I took a picture of the grass in my backyard and I took a picture of like stone gravel and stone and stuff like that. So I made this whole hedge maze. It was very simple. Funnily enough, the maze was actually the like most complex and intriguing part of it because I would put in like landmarks specifically to confuse you, so you'd like think that you'd maybe made a circle or something like that when you're just entering a different. I love game design. Anyway, but that was the first thing I ever made. Was a game with a bouncing jack o' lantern navigating a maze in Blender, and that was not good. It would take many many years to realize just how ineffectively I was going around doing things. But that was what I started with. But after that, one of the things that I realized, kind of going into it, was that I needed to upgrade to like kind of a different engine. And the engine was kind of a big deal. Like, of course, I could learn to program and like write my own thing. But predominantly, I wanted to use an engine. So I would go back and I would like look at video game covers, and I recognized just pattern recognition that Unreal Engine is what so many of my favorite games were made in. And so I was like, oh, well, I better go learn Unreal Engine then. And I jumped over to that. And at the time, to buy a seat or a license for Unreal Engine cost like something like $32,000 or something like that. That's how expensive it was to buy a license to make things with Unreal. Um, but they had a shitty student version that you could download, which I think was called UDK. And that was what which is the Unreal Development Kit, and that was what I downloaded, and that was when I started learning Unreal. And fortunately, like not long after that, two really amazing things happened, which is one, Unreal Engine 4 came out. I mean, college happened in the middle of those things, but Unreal Engine 4 came out while I was in college, which was like, you know what, we're going to ditch the whole pricing scheme and we're going to just you free. And once you earn too much money, then we're going to charge you for it. So that's thing number one that's amazing. Two, we're going to take the visual scripting system that we had in UDK and make it an actual visual scripting system, which was amazing. And three is that Blender came out with version, I think, 2.0 around that time, which was a big upgrade from old Blender. Thank you, Elmarath. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying here. Let me actually see if I can show you real quick because this is wild to think about. I don't know if any of you have ever used Blender or just any user interface in the past 1,000 centuries, but when I made my game, yeah, this is the one. When I made my game in Blender, this is what Blender looked like. This is what I made my first game in. Was this, and this is exactly the thing too. Is just oh man, oh it was not good. Just looking at this now, can you imagine trying to create a video game in this interface? Anyway, Um, so I've been using Blender and Unreal together for a very, very long time, and it's just gotten better and better and better. Photoshop has stayed the same. Fuck you, Photoshop. Uh, but yeah, I try to be really positive about Unreal because I feel like they've done. I mean, obviously they are just a big corporation, just like any other. And so there's parts of that that are not good, and there's parts of it that are really frustrating to work and interact with. But on the whole, That's actually another thing I was talking about the other day is just like like standard amounts of evilness for a company, right? Like it's not that you're not evil, it's that there's only so much evilness that you're going to do at any given time, and I just trust in you to be only ever that evil, right? Which is great. That's exactly how you want to go through life, I think. Oh man. Okay, I think I've found as many brushes as I'm really willing to go through um, for making various shapes. And again, truth be told, is I just don't know really what a lot of these things are going to look like, or what's going to look good and what isn't going to look good. So I think we're just going to stop our random aimless search here. Unless, I don't know, how many are in each of these? There's just this, again, this Kyle guy, his job is just making Photoshop brushes. And like half of these do the same thing. Like the amount of variation here is not enough to merit this many brushes. How many do I have? I have enough. I have enough. That's the answer to that question. I have enough. Okay. Hide those, pull this out, and we'll start looking at the things we're making. So the first one I want to make is pampas grass. I always say pompous. Pompous isn't like pampas, fluffy grass. I want to make fluffy grass. Um, so let's see what some of the brushes that we have at our disposal are. Um, yeah, no, not that guy. Oh no, no, that's super cool. Have any of your so Guy here has released several games on itch already, which kudos to you for even knowing what itch is. The number of people who don't know about itch is too high. Um, have you been able to like sell any of them? Have you made any money off of any of them? I wish this is a really good example of just what's going to be going wrong in this process. I should really just do this all on a black layer. Like I should just go ahead and no, I shouldn't. But here's the issue, right? Is that this actually looks really cool and I like this amount of texture. The problem is that if I take it and I do what I'm gonna have to do with it, which is I change the levels so that it's like washed way out, right? Um, there's actually a lot more texture in that than I thought there would be. That's not bad. That's not bad. I thought that was going to be a lot worse because there's a lot more going on here than there is when you like scrunch it down like that. But it's not bad. Maybe I shouldn't start with pampas grass. Let's start with the leaves since that's going to be the thing that's irritating. Uh, Jumping around like I know what's going on. So probably we'll start with birch leaves. And the whole goal here is just to create um, some kind of leaf texture that looks compelling. Yeah, maybe maybe this guy. So we'll make a birch leaf, and we'll just sort of work on these one leaves at a time. In ninth grade, I'm trying to. That's freshman, right? High school freshman in the U.S. I don't know if you're in the U.S., but around that, around that. That's dope. That's fantastic. That makes me happy to hear. I just whenever anyone is like actively making games and able to do essentially the things that they want to do, um, I don't know. That's always good because it doesn't happen as much as it should, right? I don't know that I like this approach. Sorry. Don't. Um, what if I'm being too literal? What if I'm thinking I need to paint something? What if I don't need to paint something? What if what if here's a thought. What if I do just one like blah, right? And then I take this and then I liquefy it. And I can't see it because it's white, right? Of course. Uh Liquefy. What if I take this? Oh, no. And I transform it into a birch leaf. What if I do that? I think my pixels are getting a little stretchy, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. Whoop, pressing too many buttons. Yeah. What do you think? How do we feel about that? Yes. You can go get your book. I don't even think you'll appear. Here, go, run. Yeah, no, you. There's weird ghost arms behind me. Uh, yeah. So we'll do just that. We'll see how that looks. I think that's so we do just one stroke and then we sculpt it into our leaf. What do we think about that? Does that look anything like the birch leaf over here? Man, the birch leaf is just so angular. I wish I could have like a reference at the same time. I wish I would remember to freaking fine. Yeah, it's very sharp and angular and triangular, and I will. That's part of the reason why I really like it. Oop, wrong one. There's not like a curve there. It's just this requires extreme focus. He cannot speak, for he is uncovering the ways of the Alpha. So powerful is his focus that he can drown out the world around him and provide even less riveting content for his viewers. There we go. That's... And I do kind of want there to be a stem-like thing. Better. 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 10 seconds as those plans are talking to me here. I have plans this evening and they're not fully set in, so I have to like figure out what's going on. Okay. So I like that. I like that. I want to muck around a little bit with... I don't know that it matters. It's probably not going to matter. I wish I could sort of sharpen it, but it's fine. So we'll say that we have a leaf done, and we're basically just going to create several different kinds of leaves, and then that'll be a day there. But that was cool. It started off with just one stroke. Something very zen about that. We'll call this what's the birch leaf. So the plan for this whatchamacallit, alpha map or texture atlas, I don't know, alpha atlas, is that a thing? Can we call it that? Is that there will be a couple different leaf clusters, and then alphas for a couple different just various shapes and brush strokes. So maybe I shouldn't have deleted that one I just did. Um, and then from that, we'll move on. No, I don't want to use the same brush stroke twice. One brush, one shape. That's what we'll do. Or one stroke, one shape. So anyway, we'll make a sheet of things, and then that should be good to mess around with in the Blender land. Which ones did I say I was going to make? As I was going to make a birch leaf, which we did. A plain type leaf, like a three-pointed, three-prongy thing. So how would you go about... I am making trees, and I do know Tree It, but I actually won't be using Tree It. Um, for a kind of silly and specific reason, which is actually the same reason why I'm doing this in Photoshop and not that other one, Substance Painter. Can I? And I will explain that reasoning in just a moment. I'm sad because I don't think my stylus has rotation. It only has tilt. What if I did what if I did just one palette knife stroke and then like flared it out and duplicated that? So we'll do like one, two. Oh, okay. No, I know what I'll do. Because we'll do one like that, one No, I'm sorry. Hold on. Goodness. Hide you is we'll do one stroke like this. Swoop. No. Swoop. Yes. 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 Oh, this is the ghost game. This is the ghost game. I appreciate you mentioning and knowing that Damon Change exists. Um, yeah, this is for the ghost game. Though it's funny because a lot of the things I did in Damon are like can be used here, and I imagine that a lot of the things that I will learn here and use here can be used in Damon. So, um, one in the same. So we'll create that, and then we no. Always do your fun work before you. Uh, where's the? Isn't there a transform that's like the really crazy free transform that lets me do wild grid type stuff? Yeah, this. I'm so good at this game. Yes, yes. And actually, I don't want those going in quite so large. This is actually probably what I should have used for the other leaf I just did. Yes. Yes. Yeah, no, I'm the Damon Change guy. Hello. Um yeah, so what happened? So okay, so for anyone who's here who doesn't know about the thing that was going on, is I was working on a game called Damon Change, and stuff was going well. It was a good time. Everybody just enjoying themselves. But that was on basically the surface and on the I aspire to get back to my I was working at a studio for a long while, and then I got laid off when COVID happened, and I had to go back into the world of customer service. Is the kicker there? And customer service is fine. There's nothing wrong with doing it if it's what you got to do. But I had the problem that my customer service job was basically consuming so much of my personal life and just my energy to like exist in the most negative way you can imagine. It was legitimately awful. Um, and so I couldn't keep it up, and then I quit. I quit my job, and that was like a really big deal. And I'm still kind of dealing with the problems from having done so as we speak. But it was because all of that was going on. Oh, that went kind of well, but I could probably just turn my iPad upside down, and that kind of works. Oh no, this is a terrible. I've made a terrible idea. Nope, 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 nope. Anyway, so yeah, is I quit my job, and it was a great decision to do so, but there's a lot of like repercussions from it that happened and a whole bunch of stuff. But that was what happened is I couldn't keep up that job and working on that project at the same time because life was just falling apart. But now that I've quit, I wanted to do something that was a little bit smaller in scope and easier to manage so that I could make more certain that it like gets done. And that's basically what we're working on right now is this sort of ghosty game, if you will. And that's the story of what happened to Damon Change. It's not dead. I want to go back and I want to revisit it at some point, but it is on the back burner for the moment, which is sad. But ultimately fine, because I've been having a lot of fun with this as well. Oh, and then because I realized I didn't actually explain the thing. The reason why I am not using Treat is I want to be able to go through and have like really, really high levels of control over all of the different parts of what's happening. So as when I make these trees that I'll be making at some point here, um, I'm going to be making those trees using a skin modifier in Blender. Just because it's I don't know, gives me more control. I've already forgotten what these leaves look like. That's kind of right. I guess they do kind of like dip down and have that like hole at the bottom as well. Like there's like a stem, but the stem itself is not. Can I flip these? Uh, Transform. Uh, -100? No, 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 no. This way. -100, and then rotate it. Something like this. Rotate it 90 degrees. Yes. So now, yeah, that's the way to do it. Flip it 100, rotate it 90. I guess this one would be what, 270? 270. I can't rotate it more than 180 degrees. Yeah, you can. Um, or maybe you can't. Okay, Photoshop. 100, and we'll do it one step at a time for you. Can we do one? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Nope, did I just undo my own work? I did. No, I didn't flip it enough times. Oh my God, I'm having a hard time. Hard time. 90? Is that? Thank you. There we go. That way we have on the bottoms here these much more you can see the strokes of the brush on the bottom, if that makes sense. Um which is kind of the plan. Trying to match that, like this leaf right here is the one we're going for. So we're still working on what are we working on? No idea, but it's clear you know what you're doing. Oh, yes. What a beautiful lie I've propagated to you all. Oh, yes. We're working on foliage, and we're specifically working on creating alpha textures to be used with our foliage. Um, which the effect of all of that hopefully will be good, but maybe also won't be. And that's something that we'll all just have to find out as we move along. I wonder if there is a way that I can. One of the irritating things about these Photoshop brushes is that they're locked to the mode that they were originally. So like you can't um if Kyle, because Kyle's the person who made all these, if Kyle said it's a brush, then you can't use it as an eraser. I'm sure there's a way you can, but for the most part, if Kyle says brush, then it's a brush. If Kyle says whatever, then it's a whatever. So one of the ways that we can go through and adjust that is just by using and applying masks. So if I want to use something as an eraser, I can. But really, screw you, Kyle. Fuck you, Kyle. Oh yeah, okay. So there's no, it's gonna disappear. Let's This leaf is the first leaf that we're making. So we're making leaves today. Well, no, we're making a bunch of different foliage. Hopefully, I like, and I can actually pause kind of in the middle of this, and we can see how it'll maybe turn out, um, and just sort of check our work as we go. Because I don't. It's a secret. You're not supposed to tell anyone this. I don't know for a fact that any of this will work. I just am hoping that any of it works. Uh, I want some kind of like I want like a really, really bristly. I suppose I could come back in with just the like bristle side of this. That may not be a bad idea. That may not be a bad idea at all. That might be a great idea. Yeah. Yeah. It probably should be more rounded on the outside. And then, yeah, exactly. Uh, yeah, the goal is to, so on the topic of stylizing things and just realism in general. I have a book. Hold on. I have a good book. Is it? There's some good book. Have you seen my copy of Figure Drawing for All It's Worth? No, I can just tell them about it. I'm sure it's somewhere. Okay, found it. Found it. Okay, I found it. I have a book. So this is a book. Is a very good book. It's called Figure Drawing for All It's Worth. Oh boy, the camera hates that, doesn't it? Figure Drawing for All It's Worth. Can I do that? And it's backwards for you too. Oh well. Okay. Well, so it's called Figure Drawing for All It's Worth. It's by Andrew Loomis. And if you're interested in figure drawing at all or drawing people, it's a very good book. I highly recommend it. A lot of popular artists on the YouTube reference this book and the Loomis method, named after Andrew Loomis, the guy who wrote it. But he's got a bit. It's the prologue to the book, and it's called an opening chat. And he says something really important, which I give out as advice whenever I can because it's just super important, and I want to find it real quick so that I can read you exactly what it says. This guy Andrew Loomis was uh, a long time ago. He was an old hat illustrator. Um, oh, hold on. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, perfect, perfect. I found it. So he was a long time ago, right? And the thing was is that the new invention at the time was the photograph, right? And so a lot of people were, of course, making the argument. They're like, "Oh no, we've invented photographs. Art is going to die forever, and no one will ever draw again. It'll become a useless skill that fades into antiquity." And of course, that didn't happen, right? And the same thing happened when computers come out, and someday when they're able to like transmit things directly into our brains, the same thing will happen again. But um, it does pose a really interesting question, which is if a camera can capture all of the detail that you can't as an artist, what is your purpose exactly? And this is the part I want to read to you because he addresses that very specifically. Um, so, yes, let me just find exactly. Okay. Today, with color photography and the excellence of the camera going perhaps even further in that respect, we are surfeited with realism par excellence, until mere lifelike representation is not enough. There is no other course than somehow to go beyond obvious fact to pertinent fact, to characterization, to the emotional and the dramatic, to selection and taste, simplification, subordination, and accentuation. It is 10% how you draw and 90% what you draw. And then down a little bit further, he says, I take this opportunity to impress upon you, my reader, how important you really all are in the whole art procedure. Your personality, your individuality comes first, and your pictures are your byproduct. And that's so important, right? Like that's if you hear nothing else today as far as like just creation is concerned, whether you're programming, whether you're doing art, whether you're making music, regardless of what it is, it's so important that you do only the things that you can do. And the only thing that you can do is what you do, right? There's another talk, I think it's by Neil Gaiman, who's talking about like just you'll sound like a lot of other people for a really long time before you start to find your own voice. And it's tricky because you realize that your own voice literally just is your voice. It's why imposter syndrome exists. Is you are the thing that's special, and that's really hard for a lot of people to like wrap their brains around, myself included. So, send it here. I'll actually post another link to our Discord channel that we have going on. So I've got a Discord channel. I haven't been advertising it very much, but I certainly should. Um, if there's anything you want to send me, and as long as you play by the rules, let me go ahead and post this for you guys here. Yeah, if there's anything you want to send me, come join the Discord. You can send it to me there. Dope. And please feel free to join the Discord. I'm not super happy with this leaf. I'm a little bit frustrated by it. In fact, you know what I could maybe do that would actually something kind of like that. Ooh, maybe. I'll play around with it. We'll play around with it and we'll come back and we'll figure out what we need to do after that. Apply layer mask. We've got two leaves, kinda, more or less. They work. They work to some sort of degree here. And then the third leaf I wanted to make was a kind of oak leaf. Yeah. Life lessons are crazy. They come in all shapes and colors. Uh, Plain, and we'll do a third leaf, and then we'll get to some of the brush strokes, and then we'll muck around after that. And we'll pop over to Blender and such. I really want this to be useful for something. It just won't be. Well, here, before I say that, the problem with this is that it has gray in it. That's really its problem. However, let's find out what happens if because I don't actually know if I truncate the levels here, what this is going to look like. It looks just like a splotch. I suppose there's like a chance that I could have some splotch maybe in the middle that gets like cut out. Yeah, let's not do that. Maybe this is not quite as ineffective as I thought it might be. We could do this splotch and then shape this. This is what I should be doing the liquefy with. Hey, hey. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I love it. All right, so this is this thing, and it's like huge all the time. Um, okay. We'll try just I guess like a kind of like this. Or maybe I don't know, should I not. Oh, it got cut off up there. Let's I bet you this is going to be one of the most pleasing ones. I bet. Count on it. So, in order to do this, I need to. How do I do this? How is this done? Correct. So transparency is really expensive, so I will not be using transparency. I'm only using an alpha. And what that means, somewhat unfortunately, is that my images can only be black and white. Um, so I have to be very, very specific with what I got going on because it just doesn't do. stuff. I realized I didn't say anything. I'll get back to you. Hold on. Okay, so somewhere in here is like the right amount of splotch that I want, really. Something kind of like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's exactly why I don't want gray. Yeah, is gray is and the thing is that like if there is any gray, it won't like go wrong. It won't nothing will explode, which is great because that's frequently been in the situation I've been in is that stuff does explode. But what it will do is it won't render the thing like at all. And so I have to kind of make sure that I am still getting the thing I want. Overdraw is the devil. Which I've gone back and forth so much on whether or not I even wanted to do things this way, whether or not I wanted to have any alpha at all. I did do 2 seconds. This is a fun true statement. Not that picture. Let me find a different picture. So there is. I think I only have. Oh no, mate. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So this is the uh, image. This is a screenshot from stuff I've made so far. Um, and I did something in this that I was very surprised to do. And you can see it really clearly in this bush, the bush on the right there. Um, so I, how do I even phrase this? So what I did was I made a singular leaf, like you can't see my mouse cursor. Um, oh, but I can zoom in. That perfect, perfect. So these leaves here are individually modeled, and each one is what is that? 3 polygons for a leaf. So you've got like the square body and then the triangle on top. So it's 3 tries. Each of those leaves is duplicated and then like curved down across an imaginary branch, right? That doesn't exist. And then that was placed using geometry nodes over this whole bush. So there's actually no transparency. Each one of these leaves is fully modeled, right? It's a very, very simple model, but each leaf is fully modeled. And then that was taken into Unreal Engine as a nanite asset, and then used through the nanite foliage, right? Here's the thing. If you made a bush that was even simpler but had transparency, which I did just to test, and then I crammed basically as many of these bushes into as small a space as possible. So I crammed like 100,000 bushes in a very, very small space. The frame rate of 1,000 of these bushes crammed into like all on the screen all at the same time, or I'm sorry, 100,000. Um, the frame rate, the FPS of 100,000 of these fully modeled bushes was roughly 35 frames per second, right? If you did the exact same thing with transparency, which ended up looking better, might I add, is it ended up looking fuller and better, but it tanked the frame rate to like below 1 for the same amount just condensed into each other because of the overdraw. That's how much the overdraw just tanks everything, how efficient nanite is. So one of the things I've been going back and forth on is like, what can I get away with modeling? How complex can those models actually be? And should I even use anything with transparency? Because also the shadows on the fully modeled stuff, Oh man, best shadows ever. Great shadows. Because it's all fully modeled, right? Um, but I don't know if it's the way to go for everything. So we're experimenting. We're trying to figure this out. But I want to improve upon this a little bit and then have a network game. And then that's the first thing I want to upload to Steam there. So that's what I'm up to. All right. Filter liquefy. Oh, dope. And it gives me my nice black background so I don't have to worry about any of the stuff. So I think the way the leaves work is that they're like largely symmetrical with bits that like stick out kind of in. I don't know why, but for some reason this is just like takes up 100% of my mental processing power. Like the moment I start doing this, I'm like, nope, I cannot talk. I cannot think about anything else. This is all the focus I have is exists right here. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like this one so much. I might do all of them this way. Because again, going back to what I just read from like the Loomis book, right? One of the things that I don't want to have is like a very, very standard realistic leaf because that's just not it's not telling any kind of story. It's not saying anything that hasn't been said like 1,000 times before. Doughy thought is a term I use a lot. You know how it's like something's like half baked, right? Doughy thought means I'm having a thought, but it's not all the way there yet. What if I did this better? Let's test this leaf. Let's see how this leaf works. And then I think I have a great idea. I think I have a great idea. I got really excited. I got really excited. Uh oh, there's a yeah, in the rules section of the Discord, you can do a little reaction, and that'll be like, yes, I accept the rules. Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. So okay, so I have an idea and I'm so excited by it. Let's go ahead and take this and we'll chunk it down here. Vaguely to resemble and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm so sorry. There's one other thing I'm gonna do real quick. What is this? Why does this exist? Oops. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Eh, eh, eh. No, none of these things. Get rid of all that. Swoop. Okay, perfect, perfect. And then, well, sorry, one last little thing to do is I'll take this and I do want to have, um, I guess in white, some other little like whoop bigger than that though. Okay, yeah, perfect. And then take this, and we'll do it over a here, get rid of that mask. Add in a new mask. Go back to our brush that we were just using like 2 seconds ago. Do that. Do that. I have an idea. I'm so excited. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It might be great. Boom. Apply mask. Boom. Merge layers. Okay. So, so we take this, file, quick export as our new foliage. Yes, it already exists. I understand that. Here in Blender land, I can oh god, different control scheme. That's the worst part about knowing a bunch of different softwares is like just going from one to the other as you're like trying to work on things and everything getting all like flipped around and you're like, oh, I don't know how to zoom in anymore. Um, do boop boop. And I should be able to take all of these and I should be able to move them right over here, just kind of like this. Um, for the moment, let's send this over to Unreal and see what we end up with. And you know what? Let's do actually, I'm sorry, one additional thing. I can take this current UV map is, here, let me add in another one. This UV map we'll call gradient, and this one is alpha. This is what you missed in the stream that I screwed up on this morning. So for those of you who don't know or missed that, I streamed for 3 hours this morning and forgot to hit the frickin' stream button. So this is actually my alpha. Um, my alpha will look like this, right? Um, oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. UV, copy UVs, paste UVs, take all of that, do it over to here, show that R180, boop, doom, scale. This is gonna be cool. Oh, thank you. You know, I streamed for 3 hours and like we've already done a tremendous amount of problem solving today and made some really cool stuff. It's just none of it was recorded. And then this will unwrap here. And then this guy, I need to think about how to do this. Is it should be this. Sorry. Where's give me my linear gradient here so that I can see what's going on. And give me a different material so I can still see what's going on. The way this one should go is we'll do this whole thing gets moved over to here. This gets flipped over. All of these should be like that. Perfect. And there we have a nice, neat, quick little starburst kind of thing going on. Cool, perfect. Um, and we'll shift it all the way over. Um, make it like this, scale it down so it all fits. Perfect. And now we should have two gradient maps. So gradient 0 or UV map 0 is our gradient, and UV map 1 is our alpha, which will look good when it's on the thing. Okay, perfect. Yes. Um, I've gotten so excited that now I'm just zooming. This guy, file, export FBX as my single export tester. Where is Unreal? Unreal. Now, if I come back over to here, I should be able to go click, click, re-import this guy. And he's going to look wonky because this. No, because exclusively this, which doesn't look like anything. Perfect. So something's not as it needs to be. This is the opacity mask for UV2, and that should do what it needs to do. Thinking. No, I'm sorry, 1. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's kind of cool. What does that look like if I'm just running around? Stream hates that. Um, idly simulating there? No, that looks fine, right? That looks fine. Yeah, we just won't go. We won't go into play mode because it really seems to hate doing that. Okay, so if that works, if that works, let's try something a bit different here. Let's go in. We'll create a plane, and for this plane, we're going to go into the UV editing. We're going to open up that foliage. Yeah, lag. I bet. I bet there's quite a bit. Um, so what we're doing, basically, what we're doing is seeing what does a giant cluster of this leaf look like. And the answer is I don't know. But if it looks good, then we'll be in business. I'll call this gradient, and I'll give it another one. Call it alpha. I've done it wrong already. No, I haven't. Yeah. Yeah. Material, I think. One of these is the thing it needs to be. Linear gradient. What's your deal? Doesn't matter. I don't care. Um, I do care a little bit. I don't care. I don't care. No, I care. I lied. I lied to you. Has thing. Do none of you have the thing? Well, this one is supposed to be the thing anyway, so cool. All right, so that now what we'll do is we'll this is gonna be amusing. Um I'm going to pull my folder so I can find it relatively easily. And instead of plane, I'm going to call this single leaf. I lie mostly to myself in casual conversation with myself constantly. Did this pick up the stem? Okay, it did. Cool. Um, it is a prehistoric oak leaf. Okay, so we've got our single leaf here. We can hide that. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bowl sphere, and I'm going to go into sculpt mode, And we'll just mess around with this guy real quick so that he's a fun shape. Whoop! Oh no. That's your Photoshop keyboard hand, not your Blender keyboard hand. So we'll go in and I'm just going to make some quick on this guy. Um, and it doesn't match just as long as it's kind of non-uniform and is doing weird here. Tell you what also my computer doesn't like. My computer also doing sculpt mode with complex sculpt commands and streaming at the same time. Doesn't like that either. Nothing crazy, just something kind of. Perfect. Bush. Now, I don't know where I made this thing. Down here. Bush vol. Perfect. Doom, doom, boom, boo, doo, doo, doo. All right. Yeah, I bet you are. Good computer, not infinitely good computer, you know? Which, like, the thing is that if I was doing any one thing at a time, it'd be okay. But I'm streaming. I have Unreal Engine open, Photoshop open, Blender open, several internet browsers open. I look at my. Oh, you can't see my bar. This is not. It's a decent computer, I promise. I would never program on a toaster. Uh, no, 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 not new material. Give me the geometry nodes. Yeah, yeah, buddy. Okay, so geometry, we're going to do points in volume. Oh, wait. Volume. Yeah, mesh to volume first. Points in volume. Uh, instance on points. Realize instances. I'm going to hook that all up there. Let's go grab our single leaf and do this guy here. So now we have that. Perfect. That's exactly more or less what we want. Um, and the big things I'm going to change are that its scale should be something minuscule, like zero point 0.1. Its amount to be insanely high, which we'll do 120. That works fine. That's probably lagging on your end because it's lagging on my end. Um, and then we will double check something real quick before we go too far. Don't. Donk. Cool. Like how I look down as if I'm going to be able to see something that I wouldn't by just having my head straight up. Um, there we go. But what we will do is we will take a rotation and we'll do a search random value. We'll make that a vector. I'm so excited. Um, because if it works, that means I have an idea for a process for all of it, right? And if it works, then it works. Yes, I have literally everything open at the same time. It's not good. You should not do things this way. So the random rotation ranges anywhere from 2 times pi. Hello? No, 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 no. Uh, 2 times pi to why? Why? Can I not do it for 2 times pi? Is it because it's caps locked? Is caps lock literally? Oh my goodness gracious me. Um, anything from no rotation to that. Yes. These will be our bush, our mighty mighty bush. We're gonna actually take that up to 200, which is a lot. And then computer's not having it. We'll actualize it, go in, take this. Doesn't that look lovely? Duplicate, flip our normals, take all of that and calculate it to somewhere straight up. Oh, no, no, no. Sorry, spherize. That's what we're doing. No, no, no. I lied. Boom, boom. Yes. Inverted. Take it up slowly. Yeah, right around 1.2. So okay, so oh, that's cool. Someone just told me I could use a shortcut for 2 pi, which is tau. Um, thank you, because entering 2 times pi is just my favorite thing to do anywhere. So one of the here's a tip for you for foliage. You should use custom normals for foliage, right? And so what we're doing right now with this big blob of orange up here is I first made a single plane with an alpha image on it, scattered that around inside a volume of some kind. Then I duplicated those planes and flipped them to make double-sided faces, which in theory I could do in Unreal, but we're here. So double-sided faces, and there's reasons why you wouldn't want to do it in Unreal, like why you'd want to do it this way. But flip those, and then we've taken every vertex normal, and we've actually made them radiate outward. So all of the little purple lines you can see here are actually radiating from a central point in the middle of this ball. And what that's going to do is basically all of these leaves are kind of going to be illuminated just like a ball would. And I don't know if you can sort of see here, in theory, we've got a light in the top right, and then if you were to imagine this as just a sphere, the light fades to dark as it gets around to the side where the shadow is. So generally, that's a good way to light whatever it is you want to light. But we're going to take this, and then we're going to File, Export, FBX. You can go back over to Unreal, and the great part is that we can just take the thing that we made and we can just re-import it because now it's a new object, and we should get this, which is not quite as impressive as I thought it might be. But truth be told, the leaves don't even necessarily... Oh, there's something else this is doing that it shouldn't be doing. Um, um, hmm, how do I feel about this? Can we undo just a couple? Why does it look so much more full here and not nearly as full? These look tiny. Why are these so small? So small. You can't even click on them. Something has gone awry, and I'm not positive as to what. But I do know that one of the things we can do is maybe I can just undo this a bit. I don't know how many unsteps I have. I have enough unsteps. Cool. Is we'll take this down from 0.1 to something just a lot higher, which is like 0.35, and we'll just go with that. We'll see how that goes. Boom, edit mode. We'll do apply. Boom. Hmm. 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 Mhm, mm, 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 mhm. Let's give that a try. Which part of what I'm learning throughout this process is that maybe they don't even need to be leaf shaped. Maybe it can all be just normal. That looks much better. Look at that. Look at that. Um, I don't even think it needs to be leaf shaped. I think a lot of this whole process has just been kind of silly. I don't think it needs to be leaf shaped at all. Yeah, I think I am overcomplicating things. Yeah, let's stop overcomplicating things and just make it real simple like. Thank you. I'm glad you think that looks good. I would not necessarily say that looks great. I would say it looks passable, maybe. But well, so like the thing is that like the leaf is a so here's the kicker for this whole thing, right? Is that part of the reason why I'm trying to use brush strokes is not necessarily. Oh, yeah. So part of the reason why I'm trying to use brush strokes is because I want when you like run up to this thing and you get close to it, is that you can see that it looks like a painted leaf or like just a single brush stroke done through the air. And I think that would look really, really cool. The caveat about it, though, is that as it currently stands, it looks kind of like a janky leaf. Now, if you get really close to it, you can see, oh no, no, there's it's supposed probably to look that way, like it's kind of very jagged, right? But it doesn't look like just a brush stroke. And there's a very high probability that I can just make like some really simple brush strokes and then have it be that's what the texture is. So no, I think right here, just the whole key is we're just gonna go back to our brushes, and I'll check out the ones I have again. Oops, and we'll just make a couple really, really, really nice brush strokes and see how those work. In fact, we don't even need to do that many, right? Like, let's just take that rather than do a process where like I muck around for hours, right? Is let's just take that. I'm gonna scrunch it down, or I'm gonna just a little bit more square, like that. Let's just see. That's my leaf. That's my whole leaf. Just that is the leaf, right? Um, and I'll even we'll make sure that there's no gray, right? So we'll take these two things, merge them down, go in, no gray, no gray. Just that's the leaf. So file, quick export. Leave it to me to overcomplicate something way more than it needs to be complicated. Just I'm so good at that process. So we just go through that whole thing. Actually, I don't even think I need to go through Blender. I think I can just go into Unreal and re-import this. Oh, the lag. Oh my goodness. You guys okay up there? Didn't like that. Yeah, like from a distance it looks kind of the same. Um if I like really wanted to, let me here in Blender, let me do just a little bit of readjustment of it so that it's a little bit more form-fitting. But otherwise, I think that's basically what it need to do. Foliage, open foliage again. Go down to the UV maps. UV maps. And we'll take a look at the alpha. Yeah, that is true. Sometimes you like you have to go to extreme lengths to be like, it's not really that complicated. Perfect. So we'll do this. Save. Where's my stuff? Layout. Um, Even just that looks kind of cool. All right, I'm excited. Um, so go ahead and apply that. Go back in, do the whole thing again. Flip. Select everything. Um, and then spherize it. 1.2 is about the right height. We'll take this file, export FBX, single export tester. Come back over here, pull in that object again. Nothing changes, which is a bit unsettling. Did I do it right? File, export, FBX, single export tester. I bet I did it right. I bet it's just... Oh my goodness. Why? There's something that I don't understand. Oh, no. I bet that's laggy as can be. Um, is there like an option I have for get why? Like the planes are huge and each plane should be fully consumed by that thing. Um, but the UVs aren't a doing it. Which I wonder if did I do it backwards again? Does that change anything? Who knows? Good luck on your presentation. Yeah, hey, there we go. Okay, yeah, as I was just using the wrong thing. As a bush, okay. Now we've gone a bit too far in the other direction. But as a bush from like a distance, right? That's a kind of nice bush. I realize your fidelity is probably not as clear as mine, but like there's stuff going on. Oh, that looks much more how I wanted things to look. Because it's as you get close to this, right, that you can really start to see all of those brush bristles and see that they're not actually leaves. Oh, this is so cool. Oh yes. This is so much closer to what I wanted and what I was imagining. Look at that. Look at that. That's great. Oh, I'm excited. I if you think that looks terrible, I don't even care. I think that looks dope as hell. Look at that. Look at that. Bit there's some stuff we can do. There's definitely some stuff that we can do to improve. But that's wild. That's so cool. Oh, oh no. And the other thing too that you've got in there is like the variation between color, right? So it's like real subtle, but you can see just different color in there. Oh, that's I'm so pleased with myself. I'm so pleased with myself. And I believe I can also like I don't have to use a sphere projection for the normals. I can also do I think I can use a oh my god, my head's a buzz. Doughy thoughts. Doughy thoughts again. Um yes. 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 Okay. Okay. So yeah, I was massively overcomplicating this. I think you just need to make some simple brush strokes. I think that's all it is. I think my entire sheet of alpha is just going to be a flat grid of brush strokes, and each time I want to make a flower or something new like that, I just pull. Fr- It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, I probably need lunch. I think what I'm gonna do is last time I stopped the stream in particular, and part of the reason why I stopped the stream is because I don't have any kind of like ad break, 20-minute, I'll be back thing. Um, so I think at least until I get more accustomed to this streaming thing, I will stop the stream here and I'll be back in an hour. And then when I come back, we'll probably have I'll go till like it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon where I'm at, which is part of the reason why I'm like this is a good like marker. Is I'll stop here. I'm gonna be gone for an hour to get food and just decompress for like 10 seconds. And then I'll come back and we'll do another like 3 hour when I get back. So that'll be where I'm at from 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock, and then we'll call it a day. And by that point, we might actually have all of the foliage at least done enough that we can start playing with it in Unreal. And once that's kind of done and we make a couple materials, I don't know, there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff is on like the very precipice of happening now that this is all squared away. So, anyway, okay, I'm sorry. I'm way too excited. I'll be back in an hour. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in an hour. I'll be back. Let's see if I can actually stop streaming because it'd be worse if I did the opposite of what I did this morning, whereas I wasn't streaming when I thought I was, and then I stopped streaming and I fucking come back and it's still going.